Looks like we have it. Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, so it is 5:35 on November 8th, 2021. I'd like to make a motion to open the Historic Preservation Board meeting for tonight. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, trustee Cyril. Board member Cyril.
Well, if you want your promotion.
That's right.
Jenny, are you sure you want that?
Yeah.
Be careful, be careful.
Yeah.
If you've been voted.
Okay, board member Cyril.
Aye.
Board member Pollock.
Aye.
Board member Morrow.
Yes.
Chair, Ms. Coe.
Aye,
Motion passes.
thank you.
It'll take me a minute.
I'd like to ask the board, does anybody need to recuse themselves from any of the applications tonight?
No?
No.
No.
No. Okay, so let's begin. We have our first application, 7 Shane Place, Tempeh sign. Am I saying that right? Tempeh sign. Come on up, whoever's going to present to us tonight. Sure, come on up.
Sure.
If you would just pull the chairs just away a little bit, that would be great, and then you guys can sit there and. Are you the owners?
Yes.
Great store.
At least the building. Owns the store.
Great store, love it. Okay.
So
Business owner, we call it.
what's your store?
Sorry?
Business owner. we call it.
Business owner.
Business owner.
We are two separate companies, actually just sharing the space together. I'm a children's boutique, and she's a women's boutique.
Love it. Real great style, you guys. Okay, so right now, is there a sign there at all?
We have like a very temporary wooden sign.
Okay,
There's two separate ones right now, but this one will be one.
it's going to be the combination.
Yeah.
And the one that's there, because I remember seeing the one that's there, is it any different in size than the one you're proposing?
Together, that one would be bigger by just a couple of inches. I think mine's 22, I think ours are 22
Yeah,
right
they're
now, and
the
that's
same.
24.
Okay, and so same location.
Yeah.
And this is the only sign that you're proposing for tonight?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question. Is this a single signboard? Is this considered a directory sign because it's two separate businesses on the same sign?
No, I mean, I don't see why, it's still one sign.
In one store?
Yeah, it's not a seam here.
That's not my point. What is the code regarding directory signs? If you have a building,
Okay,
With-
is
with
that
mul-
zoning planning code, are you asking? That's not our
it is,
code.
but I'm asking the question.
Okay, I don't know.
I should
I
be
don't
able to
know.
ask the
Yeah.
question and get an answer. Yes?
You know,
Only
'cause you-
one door, one function, one inside room, so, and I don't consider it be a directory, your directory sign would be for multiple units within a building.
Okay, all I'm asking for, to be sure we don't shoot ourselves in the foot here, is to be sure that whether this is or is not a directory sign and whether or not those regulations apply. I'm only asking the
Yeah,
question to keep ourselves
Yeah.
on the straight and narrow.
So my understanding in order for it to come before us, this should have been determined by our building inspector, who's saying that you've determined that it's not.
I say it's not.
Okay, and is that good enough for us?
Yeah.
Jeff? Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Jenny.
just
Good
asking,
thought.
just
Okay,
asking the question.
okay, yep, thank you.
I mean, just for the record, this is one business inside?
No,
Yeah.
it's two businesses in the same
Two businesses under one
space, but
roof.
it's one space. It's one
One
area.
space, yes.
One space, so there's no division.
No
between-
division, no, it's.
No, it's
open
one cash
concept,
register,
yeah.
one counter, one.
Yeah.
one.
Oh, boy, you better have good, you better
Hope you're good
have
friends.
clerks who are cashing people out.
Well, we're not one system, but we're one checkout counter,
Yeah.
Okay.
we have one
Yeah.
employee, things like that, yeah.
No, not my only thought is,
Okay, so Ken, do you have any questions for the applicant about this sign?
Not right now.
Printed my.
And colors are
I know what you mean.
as pictured here, correct?
Yeah.
Colors are as
Black.
pictured here.
It's black and white, I don't, yeah, it's a little, yeah.
Our packets have quite a number of pictures of this building from Main Street all the way down to the Cold House, practically. So I just want to be sure if you would verify this photograph is of this space, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
again, verify.
You're right,
what I'm
very good.
looking at.
Yeah, you didn't get that picture, Jim?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you got
did.
it.
I printed mine at home,
Black
black
and
and
white,
white.
yeah,
Ah, okay.
I think.
And this is not this is a very limited view of the
Yeah.
space. This is a more representative view. This shows your space more fully than this. So I just want to be sure I know what I'm looking at.
Jeff, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Ginny?
No, I've asked my questions. Annoying as they may be.
Does anybody want to make this motion? If you're not ready, we can wait, Ken? Oh, Ken, wait, he's got his
All right,
paper
we'll
out,
give it a
Ginny.
try.
Oh, good, okay.
He's gonna give it a
I was
try.
just getting mine out.
Okay, what are we doing here?
So you can read it, you don't even have to write it in.
Okay, so at a meeting of the HPB on November 8th, 2021, following motions made to approve as submitted the application for a sign made by,
Lauren. Okay. Lauren Tampe.
yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Lauren Tempe, for the property located at 7 Shine Place, is it?
Yep.
Uh, There's no conditions
No, as submitted. We haven't made any changes to the
as
application.
submitted. Findings of fact, okay. I need a little.
What you want to look at is, does it meet our local ordinance, including our guidelines? And does it meet signs I don't think actually fit the Secretary of the Interior standards, but in another type of case, you would want to cite those. So does it conform with the village's design guidelines?
So it conforms with the village's design guidelines,
And does it represent a negative impact on the historic resource?
and it does not
Represent.
present a negative impact on the historic resource. I think it's kind of nice.
And is
So,
and it's reversible.
and it's reversed.
I second.
Key point. Very key point.
I second.
Roll call vote. Member Morrow,
Yes,
Member Pollock,
Yes,
Member Searle,
Yes,
Chairman Coe,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, guys, go to it. Thank you.
Thank
You're all
you.
set.
good luck.
So Ginny, the negative impact, the reversibility, and what was the other one you said?
No negative,
No,
no
we didn't.
adverse, no negative impact on the resource.
On the resource, right? And what was the other one, the first one?
It
Oh, conforms.
conforms with the ordinance.
With the village ordinance?
Village ordinance and the design guidelines. The officially adopted design guidelines.
Village guidelines. Okay, thank you, that's helpful. I should put it right in there. Okay, our next applicant is 25 Locust Street for the door. Hi, guys, you're back.
okay.
All right.
forget about it.
That's it, you got the kids here, or do they leave?
No, they're here.
Okay.
Miss
When we
Cole.
pulled in, they're like, is that already listed open? Is that that's our spot?
Hi.
We're good.
Okay,
Where's the chimney?
It's
Still
it's there. So we haven't heard from the architect yet, so that's
No.
why
okay, all right, but you're here for the door.
we thought we'd do this.
So it looks like, Steve, thank you for this. This is exactly what I like to see, but it's kind of hard to tell you guys because the door on the original door space is very faded in this drawing, but Steve kind of showed me where it is.
Oh,
That's
I
the
see.
original door
It's
placement,
It's hard to see.
and
It
this
looks
is,
like it's painted the same color
is the wall.
as the body of the house.
Yeah.
And then,
But, yeah,
and then this is going to be
Door inside
where they're
here?
moving it.
No, it's
Okay.
the red trim like on the.
It's the red trim like the door, the windows, the doors.
It's just, it's
I
a
think
screened
it's
in
because of the
porch.
screen.
Oh, no, I know, but it looks to me as though the door
Board
is,
meeting?
the door is
Yeah.
here.
No, the doors. Here.
This is where you're going to put the new door.
Yes, yep,
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Where's
I see what
where's
you
the
did.
old door?
It should be
That's
right
the
here.
ghost.
Okay,
It's the
I will-
ghost here.
I see. I didn't realize that's what he had done.
It's
Well, I'll
fairly
sign it
visible
right now.
because it appears to be almost the same
Okay,
color as the
thank
body
you.
of the house.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
okay,
Fairly visible, right?
yes. And again, you know, this is, Steve wasn't sure either, but he made the call that this was visible enough to have to come before us. But obviously, it's not that visible, but it's visible enough. So that's where we are here. So did you see that change? They're sliding the door down from here to there. And it's the same door that you're using?
No,
Or
we
it's
want to put in a new door.
Uh-huh, and how about the style?
It's identical to what's there.
Okay,
It's wood. It's
Uh-huh.
got the double arch across it.
uh-huh,
I believe the one that's there, though, now
right,
has
A
a button across the top, and I suspect that's because they didn't want one solid piece of glass, maybe?
Mhm.
okay,
But it is an arch top.
It is
It's
an
an
arch
arch
top
top.
that's there now, yes.
okay.
And what happened to the old door?
The door that's there currently, it doesn't have the right doorknob on it, so air leaks through it. It looks like a house doorknob was put on it. And it's got dents on the inside of it that are blue, because they couldn't get all the paint off it, I think, when they stripped it. And we would like to put a new door on.
Mhm.
Okay. Jenny, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I just think a doorknob, replacing the doorknob would be less expensive. But it's not where you want it to be, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We figured it's the time to put a new door.
yeah.
okay. Jeff,
Okay.
anything for the applicant?
No, that was my question on the door.
And nothing from me? Ken?
Yeah, I do. That door is an original door that's prior to 1858 house, including old glass and wooden nails. I think it's quite part of the historic resource, and it shouldn't be, this new door won't even be anything close to it.
So I guess to that, part of the glass that's in the existing door appears to be plexiglass, because when you open it, it crashes into that skinny counter on the right-hand side of the door, and if that wasn't plexiglass, we would have broken that about 10,000 times by now. So it's not all glass.
And, I mean, I don't want to be contrary here, but what evidence do you have it's original to the house? What evidence do you have the door is original to the house?
Because it has wooden nails.
That doesn't make it original to that house, to be clear. And I looked at it, I don't see wooden nails in the door.
Well, my contractor, who was quite skilled, did.
When he put that in when?
I didn't put it in.
The contractor told you 40 years ago that it was original to the house?
The contractor told me in 1991 that it was original to the house.
And because it had wooden nails.
No.
Square nails, you mean?
Let's slow down,
Mhm.
okay? The contractor told me the door had wooden nails,
Okay.
which is not, that's pre, like, what are they, like, the type of nails that are like stamped,
I don't know what
We're
it
talking
is.
about square nails?
square nails.
Wooden,
Yeah.
you're saying wooden nails? Do you mean
He said-
pegs?
The contractor, who was more of a craftsman, said there were wooden nails in the door.
I've never
I've never
heard of wooden
Pegs.
nails.
Pegs for sure, but
They destroyed the mortise that functions of the door when they put a modern lock in it, though.
Okay. I had concerns about this also. Ken, I think that finding I have had doors of very, very, very old doors that were in terrible shape, that in a project of mine were repaired by a highly skilled craftsman. The project was in Jamestown, the craftsman was in Buffalo. He's no longer in business. I think my preference certainly would be to rehabilitate this door and keep it and make it functional. On the other hand, I'm not convinced that there's anyone locally who could do that work. And even if the mortise function has been destroyed through trying to install modern hardware on an historic door. You can put in Dutchman little pieces of wood that would fit in and paint it, and you'd never even see that. But I think it's highly unlikely. What I would suggest, if the board decides to approve this, that the door should go someplace like Rehouse or one of those places, historic house parts, where people want doors like that. As a homeowner, a property owner, they may have the skills themselves to fix one door and not be in the business of fixing doors. I don't think it should be
Trashed.
put on the curb and go to the landfill.
No landfill.
More than happy to take it up to historical.
Well, I'd just like to cite the history of this house. Piece by piece, it's moving away from being a historic house to, more towards like a tract house. It had a wood roof on it. That was taken off, the working wood roof, and it was replaced with a shingle roof. Now we want to tear the chimney off the house, and we were told that the chimney wasn't viewable from the street. It's plainly viewable from the street. And now we want to take out the, door. I don't think there's a lot of doors like this in the village of Pittsford. And remove it from the house and put in some door from Acme Door Manufacturing or something like that. And, it's just step by step.
So to be clear on the shingles though, on the house, I don't know what originally was on the house when it was built, but at one point it did have asphalt shingles on it. Those were then removed and wooden shingles were put on, which were non-functional when I moved into the house. They were deteriorating, and in the winters in Rochester, we had severe ice damming coming up, and there's no sheeting under them and water coming down the walls because it just doesn't function well. That's what made the decision to put asphalt shingles on and sheeting across the house, not historical accuracy, but functionality.
But there were shingles on it prior to the wood. There were asphalt shingles on it
There was
prior to the
asphalt
wood.
shingles still on the porch, and presumably still the whole house had asphalt shingles.
The house had roof lath on it, and
You mean skipped sheeting?
It had skip sheeting on it. When they,
Yes.
well,
Spaces between the boards?
right.
That's to allow air to circulate under the wood shingles so that they
So they
dry and
don't
don't rot.
yeah.
Right, and I put the wood roof on, So, yes, it had, actually what it had was it had a wood roof and then a wood roof put over that, and then which is not a good thing to do, then an asphalt roof and then a second asphalt roof. So those were all removed and replaced with a wood roof, which was worked fine. Maybe it had a little ice in it.
Right. Well, and I agree with you about the incremental changes. One little thing, one little thing, one little thing, one little thing, and all of a sudden, the character-defining features of the building are gone. I understand that, and I agree with you, and I share your concerns. But my experience with repairing historic doors is that it takes a very specific type of craftsman. I believe that John Bailey worked on the doors here, did he not?
Yes.
Is that right?
The one that stained the front door?
Yes.
Both doors.
Pardon me?
Or, yeah.
Both doors.
Yes. John Bailey is a craftsman down in Lima. He does excellent finished carpentry. He builds cabinets and cabinetry, repairs furniture. He worked on original Frank Lloyd Wright furniture at the Boynton House down in the city. Perhaps an option, Ken, would be to ask the applicant to have John Bailey take a look at the door and see if he thought he could make it function.
Is the door broken?
The door does not seal, it's not weather tight, which is our concern for energy savings.
Well, that's a whole, weather sealing is a whole other issue. You put weather stripping on if you're putting
No,
it.
because of the doorknob that's on it. You're right, we could replace the doorknob on it. We could probably sand it down to get rid of the blue
Well,
like the
that's-
paint that weren't removed
That's
properly.
that's the kind of work that I think a specialized craftsman might be able to do for you. So similar to having an expert opinion on the repairability of windows, perhaps it would be appropriate to ask the applicant to have someone who's highly skilled. And again, I've got no skin in the game by suggesting John Bailey. Have him take a look and see if he thinks it's repairable. And
Before we do that, then, I would like a determination of the historic accuracy of the door, because we have the word of a carpenter from 30 years ago that says it's a historic door.
I'm not going to call it historic, I'm not going to call it original to the building, I'm saying the existing door.
Right, okay.
That
Yeah.
may or may not be original to the building, may or may not
Be
be
historic.
historically accurate.
Well, it may not even be historic, right? It might be 50 years old.
It might be, it might not be historic, and it might not be accurate. One of the things that I was, had concerns about was whether or not this style door is appropriate for this style house.
It
And-
doesn't match the other doors in the house, I can tell you that.
Right.
The other ones have square glasses. and-
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not appropriate.
No, I understand that.
If it would have been commonly seen, you didn't happen to bring your field guide to American houses tonight, did you? I had it on my kitchen table and then I
No.
neglected to bring it.
What I find is interesting, though, is that, do you think his porch was always screened in? Or do you think this was an open porch at one
I
time?
screened it in.
I suspect at one
You
point.
screened it in, so it was an open porch, because is this the front of the house? Is this ever,
Side.
right, it's the
Side.
side, but was it ever the front of the house? Because it seems like this is quite a dramatic, dressy door to be a side door.
No, that, I believe, was always the side.
Look at,
There
That's
used to
it
be a
right
here's
there.
Locust
porch
Street,
at one
here's the
point.
porch. So it's on the side of the house.
No, I know it's on the side, but you know how the streets were reconfigured over the years?
It was never the front.
Okay, it was never the front, okay.
You know, I just make another comment about the house, which is, I think maybe the same craftsman told me that the house was, the original house was the part like the kitchen, and maybe a little back from that.
Yeah.
And it went up, and then I think I heard that, I forget where I saw this, I'd have to research it, but in 1905, they put the part of the house on that's parallel to Locust Street. And what he said was that they used wood, which was the custom at the time, to build that part of the house.
So, but that doesn't match how it appears on the plat maps prior to 1905. What we understand to be the original part of the house, that
I've already
initial
said that.
rectangle,
The original house,
is there.
based on where the
1892.
cellar line is,
Yeah.
this
I kind of
part.
figured that.
Right here?
This was probably, yeah.
This is an
Front.
addition.
The front side
Yeah,
of the
this was
front,
probably an outdoor kitchen that at some point they closed in with a rubble stone half wall here, so there's dirt under the floor in the kitchen here.
Mhm.
And that was the addition. And then I believe Ken pushed the kitchen wall back to here and then added this part out here when he lived there.
Added which part? Oh, that's the back.
Yeah.
This one.
Okay, so let's go back to the original application, the door. Do you feel comfortable having somebody come out to take a look at the door and see if it can be rehabilitated?
Sure.
That's fine.
And see if it may be more cost effective for you guys. It may just be a matter of refinishing. Now, the question is, do we have somebody that we could recommend, or do you guys know of anybody that does this type of work?
I'll do it. I can do it.
Well, I would suggest John Bailey, because he's worked
Okay.
on the doors in this building.
Now, you said you'll do it.
I'll do it.
You'll do it yourself.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think for the purpose of the board is we'll keep the door. And that's what you guys want, right? Right, that's what one member
Well,
wants.
we would prefer if
Yeah.
you can make it usable for your needs.
It's usable, it's just ugly on the inside, but that's fine.
Do you want to move the door to make the kitchen work better?
Yes,
Okay.
it's in the middle of the cabinet.
Okay, so then there's, okay, so, all right, so then there's
Why it's
two,
there.
so then the application changes. You still want to move the door to the space that you're asking,
Move the door.
but then you're willing to restore the door that's originally there.
Reuse the door, they said, yes.
I have no issue with moving the door.
Okay.
Moving the door
All
is
right, so let's, yeah, so let's talk about
no
moving the door.
concern to me.
Okay, moving the door, any problem with
No
that?
problem.
I have no problem with that as well. Ken?
It's okay to move.
Okay, it's very small amount, okay.
Now, the other thing I will just say from my own house. I live in the house where I grew up. My parents took out cabinets, took out colonnade, all that stuff. Took out huge linen closets and stuff like that to make it work for them. Everything is in the basement or the attic. So if you don't want to take it to, if you end up having a new door, if you don't want to take it to historic house parts
Store in the
or,
basement.
yeah, if you have a
Sure,
dry
yeah.
basement, keeping it in the basement so someone in the
My
future.
understanding is Ken wants us to keep the door in the house.
No, she's saying it, yes.
So
I
the door has to
understand
be
what,
there,
I
right?
understand what Ken wants.
I see.
And he's one person on the board. So and we don't all have to vote the same way. All I'm
Well,
saying
can we-
is that if you choose to,
Okay,
if you choose to go ahead with a straightforward, what you're asking for, and it's approved, keep the door in the house or salvage the door.
Well, can we do that? Can we have a
so let's
vote?
go back, right, so we're confusing that then, hold on. So we all agree that the door space change right now, we haven't voted on that, but we all feel comfortable with that. The issue here is that what we've asked the applicant is would he consider restoring the door? And he
Yes.
says that he would. However, you're saying you would rather
I'd rather put a new door.
put a door in.
Of course, that's what he's saying.
So then, do we want to vote on what the application is before us as to him replacing the door? And then if,
Moving
the
the door
vote-
and replacing.
right, moving and replacing, yes, Steve?
Shouldn't it literally be considered replaced in kind with a wood door with the same windows, and the only issue is the movement of the door within the porch?
That is, however, remember, our ordinance, or our policy is that we would try to restore first. And ordinance,
You were correct.
okay, ordinance, we would restore first, and if restoration is not possible,
Replaced in kind?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's in kind replacement second. So we always try to restore first if it's if it's available and able, and then if that's not the case, then we replace in kind. And then if that's not the case, then we move down the line, but the restoration's first.
Repair rather than replace.
Yes,
Well,
that's, yes.
Repair it rather than replace first in all instances.
So we can vote on the application as it is before us right now, with you replacing the door completely. Or you can change that and say that you're going to restore it, and we can vote it that way,
And move the door.
and move the door.
Well, they've applied, we can vote on it, and if they then want to modify their application, they can do it.
And they could do that tonight?
Mhm.
So we can vote on it as is?
Let's vote on it as is. And then we'll
Go from there.
go from there.
Okay. All right, I make a motion. To the HPB on November 8th, 2021. The following motion was made. I make a motion that the HPB approve as submitted the application for a door replacement made by, you guys tell me your names again, I should know this.
Brian and Kathleen. Ward.
Brian and Kathleen Ward at 25 Locust Street. Findings of fact. Do I have to say that findings of
You
fact?
don't have to define this.
Okay.
You have to vote first.
Right, so do I have a second? Okay,
I mean,
so,
I would, but I can't.
no, you can't. Okay, so since there's no second, that means that that's not a consideration. Okay,
Could I make a suggestion?
yes.
In order to facilitate their architect completing their work, can we vote on the moving the door? Can we separate it as two separate,
Make a
moving the
lot of sense.
location?
Well, no, because we're gonna resubmit it right now. We're gonna do the resubmission of moving the door, right.
Keeping it there.
Okay,
Keeping
so,
that
at the meeting of the HPB on November 8th, 2021, the following motion was made. I make a motion that the HPB approve with conditions the application for the change of location and restoration,
Rehabilitation.
rehabilitation of the door. That's not right, because that's not the application. The application for moving the door made by, because I'm, right, because then I'm going to say the changes. Made by the wards at 25 Locust Street. The conditions are that the original door will remain with restoration work and restoration work
In the new location.
in the new location.
And that the clapboards be replaced where the door was.
Oh, cool, yeah.
With that, okay, yes, in the original with leopards, okay. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second,
Okay, member Searle,
Yes.
member Pollak,
yes.
member Morrow,
Yes,
Chairman Coe,
Yes,
motion passes.
okay, so,
All right.
Now you want to do
Fingers
the findings
crossed,
of fact? You want to do the
Yeah.
findings of fact,
you want to do
Lisa?
it?
No, you,
Oh.
I'm asking if you'll do
All
it.
right, findings of fact, there will not be a negative impact on the resource. This is reversible, I guess, right?
I would not.
No, this is not reversible,
Yeah.
and it does conform with the village ordinance and village design guidelines.
There you go.
All right,
how about the National
Register.
Register?
and conforms with the National Registry of Historic Places because they're doing a renovation, they're doing a restoration.
They're not, in preservation terms, restoration is, and rehabilitation are two separate
Two
things.
separate things.
So this is a
This is
rehabilitation.
a rehabilitation.
So it's
Okay.
not that,
A restoration is taking it, when you're, restoration and preservation means you're restoring something to the period of significance of the structure.
like what it was. Sort of.
Well, it's original, in this case, it might be the original concern.
Yes, Steve?
I'm curious, if they have it assessed and it is judged non-repairable, could you have made a motion then to approve that other door?
Well,
Just information.
Mr. Ward is the one who's going to be doing the work.
Pardon?
Mr. Ward is the one that is going to be doing the work.
Okay.
So he is the craftsman,
Yeah,
and he's agreed to see what he could do with it.
all right.
I'm just asking for the next time I write one of these things up, what are the criteria for the Park Service one?
For,
When would you
what do you
bring
mean,
that?
for,
When can you?
Like on the sign, when I wrote this thing up, the first thing you said, but it wasn't applicable, so I didn't write it down.
Oh, when it
was-
came to
That
the
it-
Secretary of Interiors. The Secretary
well,
of Interiors.
the secretary
Yeah,
just
well-
did signs.
Maybe we could do this after.
Yes, after the meeting is a
Okay.
better time to do
Good.
that.
Okay. All right, so the next applicant, South Main Street. Another sign, Carnella.
Yeah.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
All right.
Okay.
So my first question, what happened? I thought it was gonna be Mexican.
Yes, and then labor costs and ability to
Really?
hire even one chef.
Really? Seriously?
I had to close my bar on Saturday night because I had no employees who could work.
Wow.
This is cease being coming America. They're not.
Wow,
Great
we're not working.
reputation, yeah.
You can't-
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear
I
that.
am
So,
too.
so then
The dream
this,
goes away.
well, maybe it could be on hold.
Yes.
All right, so this hot dog place, I'm just curious. So how are you getting staff for that?
So
You're not
a lot
working at that
easier, and if cook doesn't show up, I can cook.
Interesting,
I-
okay.
I
You're,
can do that.
All right.
And I have another restaurant that, in Henrietta, that does the same.
Henrietta Hot? Okay. yeah.
Is this going to be inside seating, or is it just going to be takeout?
Inside seating, beautiful.
Okay.
Shiplap starts going up and all that fun stuff.
Wow, exciting, all right. Well, we're excited to get something in there, I always am. All right, so we have a sign here. There's already lighting, I walked by today, it's the existing lighting, you're going to keep the same thing.
Yes.
We have materials here. So metal and aluminum.
It was painted blue, I see, okay.
And why did you pick metal and aluminum instead of wood?
It was the sign for the kitchen. Turn around. So it fits the space. It's
Just
just,
sign
it's the kitchen, remember the kitchen used to be there? It's the exact same sign. It says the kitchen on this side, we're just gonna turn it around.
Really?
There you go.
We did the same thing with the bar.
Interesting. I kind of like that. I guess
Sustainability.
it's reuse, right?
Absolutely.
Reuse, I like
Yeah.
reuse.
Absolutely, I like
sustainability.
that, I like that thought.
Yeah, okay, cool, all right. Looks like it fits the space nicely. Everybody sees where it's gonna be? All right. Jenny, I'll start with you. Is there any questions for the applicant?
I have none.
Okay,
I go to
Jack?
your hot dogs.
Yeah.
Can I get them with hot sauce and onions?
Yes.
Always have hot sauce.
Jeff, anything for the applicant?
Is this relatively the same size as this Chandler boutique sign? This looks a little, according to this, it looks a little heavier, I'm just curious.
I think it's about the same size.
You know, I think what makes it feel heavier in my mind is the weight of the letters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not the
Not the
size of the
right.
sign, it's the weight of the letters.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I have no questions for the applicant. Ken, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, Jeff, you want to make a motion?
Okay. At this meeting of the HPB on November 8th, 2021, following the motion was made to approve
As submitted.
approve the submitted sign by Tim Perinello for the address at 5 South Main Street in the village of Pittsburgh.
I second.
Roll call vote. Member Morrow,
Yes.
Member Pollock,
Yes,
Member Searle,
Yes.
Chairperson Coe,
Yes.
motion passes.
okay,
All right,
you very
let's down. We're ready for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
we're ready for it. Yeah.
All right, let's move forward. And we have 50 State Street, Adobe sign.
Not Adobe, Abode.
Oh, please.
Abode, sorry.
This is a class operation.
Adobe, let me
here.
see.
The last time we ordered our gift cards, they came, we didn't even notice they had spelled Adobe on them. We used them, and one of our customers came in and said, you realize this doesn't say Abode on it.
Well, you know that.
We got some use out of it.
And you know that I have Adobe. I do, a Doberman.
Oh.
So this just holds a special place in my heart, sorry. Okay. So, we're excited to
Probably
have,
approved that card.
I'm sorry.
You probably approved the proof of that card before you ordered.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, yeah.
That really kills you when you do something like that, doesn't it?
all right, well, again, we're very excited to have you in that space.
Oh,
It's gonna be
thank
a
you so
great-
much.
And we're so happy to
Great
welcome you
design.
to the village.
It was the first weekend, this weekend, and it was.
It was open because I had gone on last week. It was supposed to be
It
open on
was-
that Tuesday night and nothing was there.
Well, it was just I think it's easier opening a new business than moving.
Oh,
Because
sure.
all the inventory had to get
Right.
moved, and we put in a new inventory system, so it all had to get re-entered into.
Now the question, are your doors in yet, the glass doors?
No,
Oh.
no.
Oh, yeah, I've been-
Charlie said he looked into it, and now they're saying maybe by Christmas.
Okay, all right.
wow.
Yeah, well, it was first November or August, and then
Yeah.
by Thanksgiving. But, it's nobody's fault. Everybody's doing their best.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just the way,
Yeah,
I'm glad they aren't saying Easter.
that's true. Nowadays, right, we're just
Yeah.
happy when we can get it in a year.
And the flooring guys came, they were supposed to take 3 days. They brought 6 guys in and did the floor in 1 day.
Wow, that's great.
And the movers came on Thursday morning, and they worked so fast, they were able to deliver on Thursday instead of waiting until Friday.
Now this
So-
now I thought that this was a second location. You actually moved your
Yes,
place from that one?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep, we
okay. I thought
closed
you were.
the old location.
Okay.
Where was your
somebody-
location?
You ever
Southwest,
know where
right?
Milton Ron's transmission shop?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, right in that building.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, I know
And where
where
he
it is,
used to rebuild transmissions and
Yeah.
that 2-story brick or cement block building.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
So
Be a nice
is yours
location for it.
a design place? What's your business?
It's, mid-century and Danish modern furniture and home goods.
Okay.
And originally started out strictly vintage furniture, but I restore the vintage furniture. And I'm not as young as I used to be, so I don't restore as much of it as and so in order to supplement that, we've begun offering new
Right.
look-alike.
Do you still do restoration?
Oh, yeah, yep, that's the one-story portion of the building is my wood shop.
Okay,
So that-
great. There's a restoration
Wow.
specialist, just what we need.
Right, yeah.
I know, I'm just.
Not
really
yours.
Could
excited.
expand, maybe.
All right, so do you have any questions for the applicant, Ken?
No.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not.
Okay, who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
All right. Today,
November
I am
8th.
making the following motion to approve the submitted the application for a sign made by, just a minute, your name's on the application form.
Mr. Purnell?
No.
Mr. Parinelli?
No.
No.
No? Oh, it's,
Wait a minute, I turned it over to
Old
this.
Rochester LLC.
Abode Rochester LLC for the property at 50 State Street, Building 8.
I second?
Building B, it's not an,
Oh.
it's a.
that's a good,
Sorry.
good catch, yeah.
I
Well, it's lucky
second?
somebody can read.
Yeah, right here, building.
I just can't spell, that's all.
Well, if you pick one, it's better to be able to.
I
read.
second?
Yes, roll call vote. Member Searle,
Yes.
Member Collins,
Yes.
Member Morrow,
Yep.
Chairperson Coe,
Yes.
motion passes.
Awesome, thank you so much. I look forward to going and seeing it.
We're thrilled to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy, I can't wait. Are you ever open in the
Very
evenings?
Just till 6, we're trying
Yeah,
to
okay, just
feel
good
our
to
way
know.
out,
Yeah.
because opening late down in the wedge just didn't work out.
Yeah.
We thought with all the restaurants, and then the COVID hit, and so
Sure.
none of the restaurants were open, and so we're just kind of,
That's all right, late for Pittsford 7. So you might, but you're gonna be open for candlelight night, I hope.
yes, we are, yep, we
Okay.
joined in on that,
Great.
and
That'll be
we're
good.
doing a charitable, that at RGH, my daughter has friends who are doctors in the emergency room, and they said they have a big problem with homeless coming in to be treated, and they're coming with no jackets, no boots, no gloves. So we're going to have a clothing donation fundraiser. You'll get a discount on your,
Very nice.
if you bring coats in and all, and then donate them to the emergency room.
Perfect, that's awesome, thank you for that, we appreciate it. All
Okay.
right, have a good night. Okay, our last one, Bonnie Hahn. Hi, Bonnie. Good, how are you doing?
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you doing?
Good. So tell us, so you're in the business too? How exciting, thank you for coming, we're so happy to have you in the village. Have you started yet?
Yeah, I started on the 12th of October.
Okay, and how's it going?
It's going wonderful.
Great.
All my
Not
clients
yet.
love
That I know
it,
of.
and I'm just, I love it.
Now, are you the sole person there?
So, I own it, and then I have one renter who started last Tuesday, and
Okay.
then there's another girl who reached out to me. I have 3 treatment rooms, so there'll be 3 estheticians and so forth.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Bonnie is gonna put her sign, was hoping to put her sign in that little area. If you ever see that, we've got the signs kind of resting up on the,
Oh, that's why that is.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
Is this one of the little
Right there.
ones back?
The roof is,
yeah,
the roof is very
yes,
flat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very low pitch.
yep. And we've already approved these other 2 signs right next door, so it looks like you're doing the same thing. No additional lighting, right? Okay, so just the sign. Okay.
Does your business run this entire width here, or is it
Just the top floor.
oh, just here?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna take the bottom floor when it became available, and open up like a boutique, but I.
So your business is up here?
Yeah, that's my business.
So did you ever think of doing something here?
I thought about it, but, yeah, I just didn't know if I should or not. I mean, those boards were there essentially.
To prop a sign up on, you mean?
Yeah, so I didn't know if like that's where it's supposed to go, or I was just staying with the.
Because you made a good point. I mean, if I saw this, I would think that, is this where how you entered your space?
The middle door, yeah.
Oh, so you do enter that way?
Yeah, the middle door. And then the Taylor's sign is right next to that.
Right, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this one.
Yeah,
white
that
one.
one.
Yeah.
He goes upstairs to the left, I'm upstairs to the right.
Got it.
So I wasn't sure, like, if somebody else came in and they wanted to put, like, their sign, like, in the fourth spot right
Over
there.
here?
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering. This space is unoccupied?
It's, well, it's currently occupied by the construction company that was working on the bridge. They were using it.
Oh,
as just, like-
okay, that was their field office.
Yeah. that's
Okay.
what I feel about it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay. And the sign material is?
It's made out of PVC, but he says it has almost like a wood grain look to it.
And its colors are?
Black and white.
Black and white, okay.
Just for reference, I forgot to put on there, the frontage on the building is 22 feet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jenny, do you have any questions?
Well,
for the
it's
applicant?
not her issue at all. This is just, it's a function of the design of the building. There's no good
Right,
sign spot
right.
on the building. And if, you know, on this, where the gambrel faces front, you've got area on that second floor where you could put a sign. But there's no space to do that on the other side.
Right.
So in order to maintain some uniformity
Right.
of the signs across the
Right.
face of the building,
That's where we gotta go.
I
Right,
think
that's
we're
what she had
kind of
mentioned.
stuck with it,
Yeah,
sadly.
that's kind of what she
It's
mentioned.
not,
Ideal.
it's not ideal. It's not my favorite location, but I just,
Yeah.
not anything that can be done
can
about
do,
it at this
right.
point.
Okay. Jeff, any questions?
Just, it's sort of turning into a graphic designer here a little bit. This is awfully tight along the top here.
Okay.
Black area above the, I mean, whatever, I mean, I notice it's tight here, just me the way this thing got reproduced.
Oh, maybe it is.
You just may want to watch that. just
Okay.
To be sure that the copy is a little further in,
Yeah.
Tell him to
top and bottom.
take
Just,
in
yeah, just
the-
make sure you've got spacing.
Yeah, just leave more black space.
Exactly.
Top.
above.
top. Okay,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
tell him that.
I have no questions. You, Ken, have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. You know, I've used that Taylor for years. That building was built to last 500 years.
And it's still there.
But I think one thing you might want to do is have people know you're upstairs.
Yeah, I'm very like in contact with my clients via like email and social
Yeah.
media. And right now I just have like a sandwich kind of sidewalk sign and people, I like send out a text on my notes that has like a picture and I have in front of the building, the middle door, up the stairs, you know, to the right.
Okay.
The upper section of the door is glass, is it not?
Which door?
This door
Your
here.
entrance.
The entrance door to your building has a glass panel in the door.
Yeah, that's correct. It's like, it has all the white, like grids in it.
Broadcast one thing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if there's glass there, you could put a little sign on the glass, but
Up.
if there's,
The grids.
yeah.
What does this sign here say, this one?
That's also his.
Oh, I was going to say, if you had something there to be directive,
She had to go
that would
up.
help, yeah.
Yeah, I could do it on the other side, perhaps, of the building. It looked
Well,
like
if
some,
if you find that people are having trouble, a directional sign, directional signs are allowed in the code, so.
okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
Nope.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the sign as submitted. I'm doing it, you know the day. Approve as submitted.
I think I do.
To sign.
You got it, or you want
Got
us to
it.
say it all?
You got it.
Okay, Dorothea, you're being so nice to us tonight. All right. I second?
Okay, roll call vote. Member Morrow,
Yes?
member Pollock,
Yes.
member Searle,
Yes.
Chairperson Coe.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
you so much.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I'll stop over and say hello.
love that, thank you.
All right, team. Good job.
Yeah.
So,
Hi.
So I,
Connor, I'm at 52 Heatherhurst.
Yes.
I called to be added to the docket tonight, and I was told that that was fine.
I did not. Who spoke to you?
I called, I think it was the Friday before the deadline.
Oh, I was just gonna ask about this.
I explained the situation in incredible detail, and I was told that I was added to the agenda for tonight.
You know who you spoke with?
I
Man, woman?
did. It was a female, yeah.
Maybe it was Marina before she
It was
left?
not Marina,
Oh,
it was
wasn't it?
somebody else.
Well, you didn't speak. Marina left her employment, and I know I didn't talk to my,
What's that?
I know I didn't talk to your village clerk, so.
Okay.
Is this something for actual application, or is it for information only?
he has an application that he's made to the board to replace his windows
Okay.
on Heatherhurst. And we left it open, I believe. Is that right? Steve and I went to his home and looked at the windows. We thought it was possible they were restorable or repairable.
Okay.
And I think we left it, you were willing to check with,
Can I?
yes,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least I'll say yes. I don't know if anybody else feels the same.
I don't mean to crash your meeting. I really thought I was on the dock. So I was here on August 9th, again on August 16th, and the way we left it was that the board would provide an expert.
All right, so yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, have a good night.
Oh, I'm sorry. The way we left it, that the board would provide an expert who doesn't have a conflict of interest to look at my windows to make a determination if they're repairable or not. 6 weeks passed. On September 29th, I called and spoke to someone, explained the situation in detail, and they told me they would get back to me, or someone connected to the situation would get back to me. Nobody has. Now another 5 weeks have passed.
I remember this.
Yeah. So anyway, no expert has come to my house. No one has called me to offer to come to my house to make a determination if they're repairable or not.
No one from the board and no one from the village has contacted you about having that expert come.
That's correct.
It's my understanding that the way this, if the system is working correctly, the applicant receives a list.
Correct.
Of those individuals.
Correct.
We have suggested to come look and evaluate the repairability of the windows.
That's exactly right.
I don't believe anyone provided that list to the applicant.
Did you get a list of people that?
I didn't get a list.
No.
No. I didn't get a list, and I didn't get a follow-up call, and I didn't get any response.
Steve, have you been involved at all in this? Is there anything else you didn't need to add?
I can't say yes or no. I thought anybody who's neither list has gotten one, but,
Okay.
things happen, so.
So you never received a list?
Pardon?
No, I'm talking to the applicant.
I never received a list, I never received a name, I never received a call
Okay.
back.
Okay,
That's
so,
correct.
okay.
It's a failure on the
Yes,
village.
so the process is that we're supposed to, we have a list on file of people that you can make a determination on who you want to call, to have them come. You make all the arrangements. We don't do arrangements for you. You pick who you want, make the phone calls, and you set up that visit by them. And they will make that determination. And then you can decide if it's something that can be done or something that can't be done.
That's not quite how it was presented. In minutes 37 to 41 of the recording, it really wasn't presented that way. It was presented that we will provide this expert with no conflict of interest at our cost, our person, for you.
Yes. And
I wasn't told I'd be a list and pick through people and contact people, but I'm willing to do that, but neither has happened.
Okay, so yes, we do pick up the cost, but we don't make all the arrangements as to when they're going to come in and who you decide to choose.
We could if you want, but
I think that's what we decided.
No,
I don't
Jeff,
care. It doesn't
I'm sorry,
matter.
we have never decided that we're going to intercede and make those arrangements so that.
If we're paying them.
Well, that's what you said last time you would do that, but if you're not going to do that, then the list would be fine.
Well, I don't
Doesn't
ever
matter to
remember
me
us
very
saying,
much.
well, we can't be a scheduler. I mean, we can't.
I'm not talking about being a scheduler, but we could certainly say this person is available. We like to have you have the option if you want them.
You know, it doesn't matter that much.
You just need to let-
The months are,
Yeah, I understand.
I call him, he
Yes,
calls me
yes.
back.
Okay,
No.
so we need to get the list that we have on file of, that we put together, and I think you know where that is. And the list needs to go to you,
Sure.
and then you can decide who you want to use, and then you set up the meeting with them, and then, yes, we do pick up the cost of that
Okay.
for that evaluation. So
All right.
that part's correct.
So I'm seeing a confused look. Do you know what list we're talking about?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I have, I'm sure.
And Steve
I
has a
have
list.
Somewhere, Marina had put together.
I have a clean copy.
And I apologize, I'm very sorry that, and, well, it's been a long time, I know that's,
Well, it's okay, but.
Do we have a list there?
There's a list.
Oh, wait a minute, okay.
Instant delivery here.
So,
You need
I-
a copy?
No, that's my personal copy. Can you
So let's make
give me a
some-
copy?
Get a copy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dorothea, can you make 5 copies so each of us have one, please?
Don't make
Thank you.
one for me, I already have.
All right, 4.
I listened to the recording, and the list was approved after I met with you, so maybe you didn't give me the list because it hadn't been approved
Ah,
yet.
okay, that's
But
probably.
anyway, there wasn't follow-through in terms of contacting me or anybody calling me back, because I did speak
Our
with somebody at
apologies.
length.
Yeah, we apologize for
And then
that.
I called again and got on the docket, so I'm not really sure
What happened?
why somebody is saying they represent the board and they could do these things, and then nobody remembers.
Right.
That's a little confusing.
Well, we did have a secretary that has just recently
Okay.
left, so maybe that,
Deputy clerk.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, it was a female. I don't
yeah,
know
so
who
that
it was.
may have,
There's one more name that I would like to add to the list, but I don't want to give it to you until the board has discussed it.
Okay, sure.
okay.
So if we agree, I'll give the information to Dorothy and she can forward it
Sure,
to you.
Yeah,
No, I
actually,
remember this
it was Dorothy that I spoke with.
No,
That was the name. yeah.
No, it
The name was Dorothy. I wrote it down. I wrote it down, man. I spoke with you on September 29th, Dorothy, okay? And you told me you would get back to me, all right?
I'm sure
Yes.
not. We will,
I could look at my phone record and prove that we had a discussion at this time.
sir, I really don't want to get too tit and
Man,
tat.
people make mistakes, but don't tell me that I didn't contact, all
I
right?
would not.
I don't appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, I need one, yeah, okay, so
Sure,
that's the procedure, do you,
Okay.
so just take a look at this,
sure.
make the arrangements so it's convenient for when you could be there, and then you have the person come, we will take care of the cost of that evaluation,
Sure.
and then we'll move from there.
Can we have a
Perfect.
discussion right now so we don't get into this again?
Sure.
Jeff, how will the reimbursement work? Will the applicant need to pay up front and the village will reimburse? Will the village engage? Once you've picked someone and made an arrangement, the village will contact that individual and say, bill us? How'd that work? I want this to be a
Another
continuing
go on and
issue
on and
for you.
on, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I want to get, because sadly, you're our first case with us.
And actually, look at what's in my folder, right in the very top.
Yeah.
This is sitting right at the very top of my
Yeah.
folder.
Right. I remember this discussion. I remember this one.
I have no idea because this wasn't presented to the village board as to how to handle this situation, so they haven't made a determination. My preference would be to be billed directly from the contractor because of taxes and other things like that. to make
Okay.
sure it's handled appropriately.
Right. Because the village is tax exempt and the applicants are not.
And it's clean with the I-9s and everything.
Let's talk about the procurement policy. This is something that this does not need board approval.
No, it does not need a board.
This can be a clerk's office approval.
This is a contractor list, not an evaluator list. Is that what he's looking for?
We're looking for the evaluator list.
Now, this is a contractor's list.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry I gave you the wrong list there.
Well, we need this one too, but,
Yeah. Verify contractor.
Yeah.
That's the contractor list. I think
Marina has both lists.
I have this list as well. You might need both lists.
So just take both. Steve, make 4 more copies, please, or 5.
So are you living in the house now?
Thank you.
Are you-
Yeah, we live in the house, we've been in the house for 5 years. It's not an emergency to change my windows, but
We'd like to get something
they
done.
don't work. So I want to either get them repaired or
So
replaced.
Dorothea,
Yeah.
he picks a guy, and that guy should call the village to arrange payment.
Yes. You should.
And is there some amount that's, not to exceed?
That's a good question, because,
I-
I am limited into my amount of approval.
What's your amount?
Well, she wouldn't know. Oh,
Well,
that she
I
can
do
approve,
know.
that she can prove. Oh, I'm
When
sorry.
you are making contact with these evaluators, I think it would be appropriate for the applicant to get an estimate of a price. You think that's reasonable?
I'm sorry that we're putting you through this.
Yeah, this is kind of a process we're trying to,
to. My understanding is that they're to assess the repairability.
correct.
Right, that's not,
That's the repair list.
Right.
So make sure you look at the
So-
good one.
I had thought, and maybe this is my failure, that we knew what the price was going to be roughly.
For each of the
But
evaluators?
we don't know that.
No.
Where did we get these names from?
This is a accumulation of,
Board members put forward names.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jeff and
That were
I in
vetted.
particular,
We-
we brought them to the board.
yes,
Yep,
People have talked to them.
yes,
All
but we
right.
never got a cost.
In my perfect world, I would like us to have a set price for this service.
mhm.
I would say not more than 2 hours time. That's time to, because you have, when somebody's doing this kind of work, you have to pay for their drive time, because if they're driving, they're not doing their work. So it would include drive time and evaluation time.
Under 2 hours.
And I think, except for the Old House Company LLC, sorry, this is the repair. That's why I have it right here. Steve Jordan lives in Brighton. Chris Grant lives in Arundecoit, but he works in the city. Blake Held lives in Honeywell Falls.
That's right.
So they're half an hour.
Well, they have to get their gear together, and,
Yeah.
but I would say $200 would be a maximum price.
Right.
Because they're unlikely to stay at any one place.
Not to
unless
exceed
they're-
$200.
And do I call them and have them come out and then they talk to you about billing you, or?
They may have questions for the clerk before they come see you. And if they do, tell them to call the clerk.
Call the clerk?
Yes, call the clerk. You guys set up the times that's convenient for you, the both of you, and then to get payment.
If I was them, I'd want to know what the billing arrangement was before I showed up at your house.
And the clerk is the number?
The village clerk here, Dorothea.
4332.
There's only one number, unless you have a phone.
No, I don't need any more.
What's the beginning of it? 4332, I'm sorry.
586.
586.
4332.
All right, perfect, okay.
And again, we apologize,
It's all-
we're not on.
It's all good, it's a new process, it's fine.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate
Yeah,
that.
all right, thanks.
I'm glad we could
Thank
talk to
you.
you tonight.
All right,
Thank you.
sure. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Did you get one of these, Jeff?
Yes.
Jeff, did you get one of these? Everybody got a,
Yeah,
Yes.
If the calendar is okay.
that's very
we
good
just
to have
need
that.
to Okay, it.
Well, you tell us when it is.
wait, let me see.
Yeah.
I didn't look at every date yet.
Oh, Valentine's Day, you mean?
Oh, my
Come here on
gosh, come
Valentine's
on.
Day, come on.
happens.
We're going to be out partying.
Yes, my husband, don't you know my husband already booked their
I've
Bahamas
spent many a
vacation?
meeting with the village board on Valentine's Day and my birthday.
Oh, wait a minute, I might not be able to come December 12th, that's my anniversary.
I know that April 11th is around the holiday, and I'm usually in Florida, but again, there might be some
Whatever.
I'm
meetings
supposed
that
to
we
check
miss.
you tomorrow, my email, to see if you got to sign a list, too, just so you know.
If what?
Anybody who wanted a list before, as far as I know, got a list, so I will be checking my email tomorrow.
Sure.
And see if people sent a list.
I think we all had a working list, but I'm not sure. that-
Yeah, I don't
Wasn't
think
in
we,
this
I don't think we did
But it
have this
wasn't in
list
this-
yet.
yeah.
I think he's right. It was right about him that we were
But I think I
compiling.
got this again, but I think these names were on the other list. I know Steve Jordan was before.
Right, but I don't think we gave it to anybody yet. I think it wasn't finalized, so we didn't hand it out to anybody yet. I think it was right around then that we had finalized it, so.
I want to check, well, you know, my own.
Yeah,
place,
no,
but I would
yeah, go
swear
ahead.
Anybody who said, and he's evaluated, that they've gotten some sort of list from us. We didn't ignore it.
Dorothea, this is just for you. This is, again, I know you got a lot to do, but that's just something for our application process for the HPV that we're trying to still work on.
Yep, no, it is being worked on.
Okay, just a little something,
Unfortunately, with Marina leaving and
a lot of stuff right now.
versions, there was some version confusion, so we're trying.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to, I've got a couple of things, a couple member items. The window repair contractors. This is going back to Georgia Woodring and her 1953 Anderson casement windows. Lisa, you and I went over there and looked at them, looked like the
Hardware?
The hardware was the issue. I made contact with the Anderson Window Company. They do have some stock of replacement hardware, which they gave me via email with links to what hardware is available. And I talked to Georgia about it. And she and I went back and forth about whose job, well, she wanted me to make all the arrangements, she wanted me to do all of the back and forth with the contractor, and I asked Jeff about it, and he said, we can't do that, and I told her we can't do that.
Right.
Sorry. What she did tell me that she had called, she didn't tell me how many of the repair contractors she had contacted. What she told me was that one person she talked to said, what did he say? That he didn't repair windows. I don't know who it was on the list. So I called the first 4 people on the list because Peter Roth is sort of an outlier, and Jim Turner, as I think I told you guys, Jim Turner is the guy that's going to take a window that's fallen apart, all the pieces are in a box, and he's going to rebuild the window from there. That's the kind of work he does. So he wouldn't be appropriate. So I didn't call either of those 2. I called Fred Steele and left a message. The secretary called me back and said, oh, by the way, it's not Fred Steele anymore, it's Terry Massey's business. And he's changed the name.
He just did. Oh,
Well,
okay.
he worked for Fred, he worked for Bruce Steele for many years.
Right.
And then he must have bought the business and he's
From Bruce.
changed the name.
Jenny, can I just ask a clarifying question? This is for hardware repair,
No,
or hardware,
these are the repair contracts.
no, I know, but this is, what we're talking about, Georgia.
Yeah.
She needs to have her hardware replaced.
Yes.
Okay, to me, that is not a restoration. I mean, that can be done by any handyman.
No.
To take hardware, old hardware, and put new hardware on?
You're not talking
We're not
about, you're not
repairing, we're not taking window apart.
If it's the same, yes, anybody.
Yeah, and I thought that was called the Anderson windows.
Anderson Window does not want to deal with 1953
but that's how
windows. They
they're-
want you to buy new windows.
Right, but they're the ones that we're getting the hardware from.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's from someplace, God knows where.
Right.
I ordered,
You mean it's not Anderson who's supplying the replacement hardware?
Anderson, you get the replacement hardware, I believe, through Anderson.
Okay.
I replaced the crank hardware on casement windows.
Right.
But these were like 1990 windows, not 1953. It was easy, I did it.
Right.
So how hard can it possibly
Right.
be? But these are older windows.
Okay.
And these windows also have some other issues. Do you remember how caked the paint was on the hinge portion of the window so that it really, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for it to move because the paint was so loaded on the operating hardware hardware on the outside.
All right.
Let me just finish with
Okay, go ahead.
with the conversation I had. So she told me that she told me about one call she'd made, and she told me that the guy said, I don't repair windows. I'm not doing this. And she said it was someone from our list.
Okay.
So I called all four. I left a message at Fred Steele. The secretary called me back. She said Terry Massey would call me back on Monday. Never heard.
So she has to
I
call
left.
them again.
I left messages, I called, because the reason why I was making calls was to verify who it was that said they don't do it, they don't do it.
Right.
So I called 3 of the 4, left messages, got no return call. Number 3, Rick Chinette Painting only works on double hung windows. He's not going to replace hardware on casement windows. He doesn't work on casement windows. He works on double hung windows. So I know Jeff and I called all these people. And even after Jeff called them, I called them because I was surprised to hear Terry Massey say that they were going to do anything like that because I know the kind of work they do. They don't do these little jobs for people. And I know he said, depends on when it is and yada, yada. But my point is, we've got 4 people who originally told us, yes, they would do this kind of work. And when an applicant calls, they get no response. Or they're told, I don't do this work.
Okay.
Just so you know, it's very disappointing to me.
It is. And however, again, we're in a very weird world right now, and you can't get anything done. I mean, you order a couch and it's 10 months out. So we have to also take under consideration where the world is in general. You just heard this guy can't even get somebody to open up a restaurant. So in general, everything's taking long. People aren't calling back. People are overwhelmed with work. So where do we take responsibility in that? And where do we, I think we went over and above putting a list together and having you guys call them all individually.
Well,
I mean, we did our due diligence, I feel.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Point. This is a very personal hot button for me. I have been working with the Landmark Society to pull together a program where they will train people to be installers and go forth. They have the grant money to get this done. We're having a meeting this Friday. It seems like this is like herding cats to get this thing going because Jerry Ludwig, who you all know, and I have been pushing this hard. Jerry and I have 2 parties that are interested in making this their business, not side things, just window restoration done the right way, according to Steve Jordan. So I tell you this just out of frustration because I'm so slow to get this thing going and all their internal bureaucracy and all that sort of thing. I think we're getting somewhere. And, believe me, when I hear things like this, it's like this is more fuel on the fire to make sure this thing happens.
So take that to the committee at the Landmark.
Absolutely, because I stood up and said, these guys have got their backs to the wall on this. People want answers. They want to have things done, in a reasonable period of time. And, it's very frustrating. So I've shared this, I think, with you, and maybe we've talked about it, but for us collectively, I wanted you to know that initiative is underway. It's a trade program, and they are going to be going with 2 parties or 2 entities, 2 companies, a big one and a smaller one, to address this. The sooner the better. So I'll keep you guys informed.
All right, thank you for that.
So you talk about due diligence. Well, we got a problem.
Due diligence doesn't change our charge.
Right, but that's
Exactly,
a problem. That's the
so where do
problem.
we?
You can't tell people to go get their windows repaired rather than replaced if they can't do it.
Exactly.
You're gonna lose that every day in Supreme Court.
But then where does the Secretary of Interior come in then?
I would like to put a question forward to Jeff. can the HPB request that the Board of Trustees issue a moratorium on window replacement for 1 year? Something like that. A specific period of time to allow the Landmark Society to.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not asking you.
He's like, no, please don't.
Not fair to a homeowner, though. Not fair.
Unless their window is falling out of their house, I think it's rational.
The question though, Ginny, is do you think it's realistic that they're going to get themselves together and that we're going to get anybody out of that program in a year?
I think having a moratorium on something, municipalities issue moratoriums on things with some regularity. A number of years ago, there was a moratorium on subdividing
I understand
lots in the town of Pittsford in certain residential zoning
But there
districts.
has,
The moratorium would have to have a hardship.
would explain that, please.
They have to have a hardship out.
What's that mean?
Well, you get out of the moratorium if you have a hardship.
Right.
So in other words, if their windows were falling out of the house,
Whatever.
that would be a hardship?
Whatever you build in the code, that would be a hardship. I mean, whatever.
I was looking for a way
To buy us some time.
To buy us
You're
some
trying
time,
to buy us some
so
time.
that we're not forced to make decisions that are in opposition to
Driving
our
people
ordinance,
crazy, yeah.
in opposition to the Secretary of Interior's standards, because there's nobody to do the work. And if the Landmark Society has a major effort
Project.
Going forward,
to resolve the problem, that's not just in Pittsburgh, it's not just in New York
It's
State.
in Brighton, it's in the city
It's
of
all
Rochester,
over it's all over the country.
In our region.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
but
it's
no,
all
Landmark
over the
Society
country.
is working on our region.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the
So-
Landmark Society is at work currently trying to come up with a program that will allow preservation boards and property owners
Access to a restoration specialist. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
So my question is,
and how would they go about it?
we are not, well, hold on, we are not the only certified local government that has SHPO's model ordinance requiring repair rather than replacement,
Right,
okay? So what the hell, are we on the record?
Yes, we are.
What the heck?
Too late.
What the heck is SHPO doing to help these certified local governments with this problem?
Ooh,
Yeah,
good question.
yeah.
Do you know
know, Jeff?
do you know Julian Adams?
No,
Julian's not in that spot anymore. He's doing a different thing,
Okay,
I think.
well,
But
he's,
they're the ones that are governing all this.
James Finelli is local. I mean, he's the
You're right,
representative
that
for
might be the
this.
guy.
Okay.
We need to know, and I thought maybe what I was asking is, have you guys been in touch with SHPO at all to talk about this issue?
Okay, Jeff, guess what? We've got a job for you.
No, I wasn't putting it on you.
No, but I think that he's, so I think that that's a good person
Has
to
the Landmark
contact.
Society Committee contacted SHPO to
Yeah.
see what?
it's on the list. I saw that, it's on the list.
Because I like that. I mean, what are they doing to help us
Well,
to
it's really
conform?
not what are they doing to help us. Steve's got a question.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't reach out to the other historical districts like Rochester,
We have.
Brown, things like
We're-
that.
They have the
They're
exact
on
same
connected.
issues.
They're working on that.
We are connected. Brighton, we're tight with Brighton, we're tight with the city. We're going to meet with Chris Coretta on Friday on that very issue for the city.
So my question is this. It's not what can you do to help us? What is your recommendation as our overarching,
Responsibility.
supervisory body? That's what SHPO is.
Yeah.
They are our supervisory body. What are they suggesting we do with this ordinance that we have that we can't administer?
Okay, that's,
Takes the onus off of you if SHPO comes up with some sort of a determination.
yes.
I have a feeling that they're tuned out on this, that's my feeling, but whatever.
So,
I'll find
all
out.
right, so do you want to take that charge?
Jeff, would you,
Done.
that's what you said?
Well,
right?
have the have your committee at the Landmark Society.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, I can have.
What was your comment? You're tuned out on it, is that what you were thinking?
They might be tuned out. I don't know that for sure.
Well, but it seems to me that they can't be tuned out on it, because we have an ordinance that requires us to do this.
Yep.
And it's their ordinance that we followed when we adopted this.
Right.
It's going to be a great point. Yeah, find out.
What are we going to do about their model ordinance? What are they going to do about their model ordinance?
Oh, I love that.
When we
They
can
got- I love that.
How can we justify the model ordinance
If we,
against the Secretary of the Interior standards when there's no means to repair?
To accomplish the end that we're required to accomplish.
Right, exactly.
And that's a.
Oh,
more
this
later.
is-
Okay.
This
Oh, it's
is
gonna be
gonna
fun.
be good,
Jeff,
Jeff.
You know,
This
I'm
is the
happy,
meat.
I'm happy to lend whatever attorney weight there is to this, but this is really a question of law enforcement.
it certainly is. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And it's been, I have reported back to this committee on this, and, in general terms, on the frustration here on this, and Wayne knows this as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so with that, that's
That-
I love that piece, and you're going to take that. However, we got to answer Jeannie's